All right, I am finally back with an update on the notchback. We have had a couple hurdles that have come my way, namely in the form of a transmission I paid for that never arrived, then another transmission that I purchased that was blown, obviously from a junkyard, what do you expect? However, now we are sorted. I have a good transmission to use, hopefully. I mean, all the gears work on this one at least. I have a complete FABbot Fab install kit. I'm gonna run through this whole setup. I'm gonna show you how to save big money over doing a T56 style swap into your LS powered vehicle. The reason I chose this direction was I spent a good amount of money on a T56. I waited forever, it never came. I finally got refunded. And then I started looking at what people want to charge for these old 290,000 mile piles of trash. And it makes zero sense to me. Like legitimately people are asking $1,500 to $2,000 for a 100,000 plus mile transmission out of an F-body. There is not an F-body in the world. Okay, that's a stretch, but there's not a T56 out of an F-body in the world that is worth $1,500. You can buy a T56 Magnum for $2,500, $3,500. So instead of spending $1,500 on this pile of junk that's been beat up by Uncle Bobby and his buddies for the last 20 years, what could you get that's a cheaper alternative that will last just as well as a stock T56? Boom! This right here. So this transmission is called an AR5 transmission, and it comes in the later model Chevy Colorados and the GMC Canyons. It comes in the Pontiac Solstice, the Saturn Sky, also the Polaris Slingshot, I believe. It's a 5-speed transmission. So you got that. There's a couple variances in the transmissions themselves. I chose the truck style because it was the easiest for me to find. However, FABbot Fabrication makes a complete swap kit to change this bell housing so it fits your LS engine. I'm gonna walk you through all of this. So the first thing that you're gonna do is you have to take the AR5 bell housing off the transmission. So if you look inside here, you see the slave cylinder has one bolt up there, one bolt down there. They're 10mm bolts. I generally just loosen those, and then the 14mm bolts all around the outside edge of the bell housing with the little pink dots on them, all of those have to come out as well. So you got a couple 10 mils on the slave, and then I think it's 1, 2, 3, about 9 bolts around the outside edge of the bell housing that need to be loosened up so you can pull that bell housing off. Those bolts are out from around the bell housing. You take your rubber mallet, because sometimes the dowel locators will get them to stick. You just give it a couple good whacks so you start to separate. And then I'll put this hammer, this sledgy down, and then I'll finish it off with my hands. Cool, just like that. We get the bell housing off. Now it's time to fit the adapter plate. So this boy needs to get fitted. And you'll notice it's already preset and pre-drilled for those dowels that I just talked about. Let me set this down. So you have a couple spots for dowels that actually line up with the dowels on the transmission. So this thing literally just presses right on the face of that trans without issue. So nothing is bolted up, but you can see, like I said, one dowel there, one dowel up there, and it slips straight on. Now, once you get that plate just fitted, you're gonna take these 6 right here, these silver guys, they're M10s, and then you're also gonna need these socket-headed units as well. So your socket-headed bolts, they're gonna go into the lower bolt holes that have the recess bored out so that doesn't interfere with the bell housing. And then all around the circumference here, you see the stainless, the silver ones, all the way around there, the regular hex heads. And then the recessed bolts on the bottom. Do not mess that up, because then otherwise it will not seat properly. And when you're done, you're gonna torque these to 40 foot-pounds, star pattern, obviously, so it bolts up flush. The next step, these front plate bolts, these 3 right here, they have to get replaced. He sends you these button head units, and the reason these have to go there is because if you look down the edge of it, these bearing plate bolts stick out past this billet adapter. So pull these out, and replace with the units he sends. There's just 3 of them. Uno, dos, tres. Okay, so with those complete, the next thing you're gonna take is this billet slave adapter that he sends with the kit. And that's gonna line up with the 2 small holes there. So that'll just go right over the top, kind of locate itself over the top. Then you're gonna take your slave cylinder. This is the one I'm using. It's a Howe unit from Monster Clutches. And that's gonna go over the top again. Line it up all the way. Obviously it's not lined up, but what I'll do is I'll line it up so the 2 bolt holes on the billet plate and my slave will line up with the transmission. Then I'll take these 10mm head bolts. They're just little 10 mils, and I will bolt my slave cylinder to my transmission, making sure to keep the bleeder line above at the higher level than the feed line. You want to bleed from the top, so keep that in mind. So if you have a speed bleeder like this unit, make sure that that's orientated towards the top. This is my speed bleeder right here. So before someone calls me out, that's not a bleeder, this is. And you'll see it sits at the top once it's bolted in. Now before I bolt the bell housing up, so I got my adapter plate, I have my slave cylinder adapter and my slave cylinder itself. I have my lines tightened up. What you need to do, depending on what clutch you're using, is you need to measure for air gap for your slave cylinder. This is very important. Do not skip this step, which means it's a good amount of work, but I'm gonna show you what you gotta do here. You're gonna need a mic, so you're gonna need, these are cheap, they're at Harbor Freight, they're not expensive. What you're gonna do is install the bell housing by itself onto your engine, right? So my bell housing is installed on my engine. I have my Monster Clutches triple disc. This is the baddest clutch I've ever ran. And it's gonna break every piece of drivetrain in this car on purpose because it's super, super strong. And what I wanna do now is measure from the tips, the high point of these clutch fingers, the pressure plate, the high point of these to the flat of the bell housing. So you're gonna take a straight edge and you're gonna put it flat against your bell housing and you're gonna measure the distance from the tip of the finger to the straight edge on your bell housing. So basically, again, just that distance, that chunk right there. But you have to use a straight edge to get that. Put it on either end of the bell housing on the flat so it flattens out and measure that distance. Write that number down. Good. And you get out from underneath the car. Oh God. You're gonna do the same thing, but you're gonna do it on your transmission. And what you're gonna measure, again, you're gonna put a straight edge across this bearing now, and you're gonna measure where the bell housing bolts to the straight edge off the bearing. This is a very crude straight edge, but I'll show you right here, little socket rail. So your straight edge across the bearing and the distance from the edge of that, again, this is plastic, do not use this, to the flat of that billet adapter. That measurement will tell you, subtract that from your first measurement, and that is the amount of distance you'll have for a throw out for your slave. Now, every clutch company is a little different. Monster Clutches recommends on these triple discs no more than 2/10 of an inch, which I landed right in with everything as it's set up right now. Again, do not wing this. Make sure you measure. If you need another tutorial on measuring air gap, Grannis Racing has a very good video of a T56 Magnum doing the exact same thing. So this is very crude, but you get the point. You got to measure from flat of bell housing to pressure plate fingers, and the same on your transmission to get that air gap. No 2 clutch companies are going to be the same. So make sure if you run a Monster, if you run an OEM GM, whatever you run, make sure you check with that company on what the desired air gap is. Oh God. I'll be back in a bit. The final step in prepping your transmission to go in is going to be bolting the bell housing onto the adapter plate. So these bolts come with, so all these guys, but what you got to do is take your hydraulic lines. Before you go to install the bell housing, you route them through these cutaways in the billet adapter. And when you go to put the bell housing on, you're gonna have to snake it around these hoses so it doesn't dislodge them from this cavity, because this is what's gonna prevent these from getting pinched between the bell housing and the adapter plate. Okay, so I slipped the bell housing up and over these hoses. They still are recessed in this cavity. I only have one of these bolts holding it in. He sends you enough to tighten up the whole bell housing. So once these are in place, just make sure that they have movement in and out. They're not getting bound up between the plate and the bell housing. And then go ahead and tighten all those around the bell housing to spec. And there you have it. So you get your adapter plate, slave cylinder adapter, slave cylinder itself, and now your bell housing. Finished product looks a lot better from here forward than there back. But at any rate, we have a operational 5-speed transmission for an LS engine. The next step is installing it onto the back of the engine, which is a little painstaking on the floor. So just use your imagination. It's a lot of me cussing and bleeding and yelling and screaming. And then hopefully the next clip you see will be the transmission installed, which would be sick. Look at that. She's bolted in place. Oh man, if you've ever used one of these Harbor Freight transmission jacks, they are the devil, man. You cannot, well, you're not supposed to use a cordless impact to raise and lower them, but it's literally like tempting fate every time you use one of these things. But we have transmission in, motor mounts are snugged up, bell housing bolts are snugged up, transmission we have installed. Sweet. Actually took a shower. I'm just gonna lay here. I had to take a shower after I put that thing in because it was about an hour and a half of finagling and moving around, and I'm just not a young, sprightly man anymore. So it's always fun installing a transmission on the. You know, it's a hard job when you lay on the concrete floor and you just, you know what I mean? Just one of those. That's the mood. That's what I got for a mood right now. All right, it is the 4th of July. And this is the end of this video. I'm covering up my head. I got a little Vin Diesel shave going on. A little American Spirit 1320 video, American Spirit in the background, little Makers and Diet Coke. Yeah, that's right. I mix my Makers with Diet Coke. But that is the conclusion of this segment, this episode of Clapped Out. What's the name of the series? I can't even remember the name. But able to get transmission installed, which was a huge, huge relief. The other thing, let me grab a light, hold on. All right, the other thing I was able to do, you'll see the headers are bolted up as I'm holding this light right in your face. We got headers bolted up. That was nice, that was good to get that done too. So a lot of people that do these swaps, with the transmission installed, there's no trans mount yet, but those are Speed Engineering headers, like $300 joints off eBay, so cheap and easy. The UPR K member, that's a UPR small block Ford K member. And then Joe Pinto on Facebook, the race shop is his shop, makes these mounts. They adapt a small block Ford K member to an LS, and it is the only way I could fit the cheaper headers. So I ended up saving a bunch of money. Instead of buying like I don't know, not a Chinese header, I bought these headers. Let's just be real, if they're $300, sure as shit ain't being made in America. But I don't care because this is a budget-friendly project. And I got a badass set of mounts made in America and paid a small business, and a badass K member made in America, paid a small business to fit my Chinese headers. So happy 4th of July, everybody. Again, thank you so much to FABbot Fabrication. Matthew was awesome to work with, and the products speak for themselves. I was really stoked at the ease of install. And UPR, as always, for helping out on the project. Joe Pinto with the mounts. The project is coming along. I cannot wait to unload as much nitrous as possible into the bottom end of this engine. It's going to be awesome. So until next time, you guys tune in. Hopefully next week we'll have another update for you. I appreciate everybody's support on this project. And make sure you tune into our live feed. Sundays at 7 p.m. on Facebook. Also, clappedout.com/store. We still have shirts and merch and stuff available there. Don't feel obligated to buy. But I mean, be cool if you did. If not, I understand. Either way, everybody have a blessed day or night. Just have a good time.